You've probably heard it before. Atheism is just the absence of belief. But let's be honest, it's not. It's a belief system, a worldview, a claim that everything came from nothing, that morality is just a human invention, and that your mind is nothing more than brain chemistry pretending to have purpose. I'm not here to insult. I'm here to challenge. Because the truth doesn't change to fit our preferences. It doesn't care if it offends us. It just is. And here's the truth. Atheism doesn't just fall short theologically. It collapses under its own logic. So let's take a closer look at why atheism doesn't make sense, and why the evidence for God is far stronger than you've been led to believe. 1. Atheism is a belief system, and it requires faith. Atheism claims to be neutral, just a lack of belief. But the moment you make assertions about the universe, morality, human identity, and the purpose of life, you've stepped into worldview territory. You're making claims, and every claim demands evidence. Atheism asserts that the universe created itself. Life came from non-life. Consciousness is an illusion. Morality is subjective. Jesus was just a man or a myth. None of those are neutral. All of them are beliefs. And ironically, they take a massive leap of faith. Because if you remove God, you're left having to explain everything: existence, order, reason, beauty, justice, and love, without a source, without a cause, without a purpose. That's not intellectual freedom. That's philosophical chaos. And it's not rational. It's just rebellion wrapped in intellectual language. 2. Something can't come from nothing. Let's start with existence itself. The Big Bang theory, accepted by nearly all cosmologists, states that the universe had a beginning. Space, time, and matter all came into existence at a single point. But here's the question no atheist can answer. What caused it? You can't say nothing, because nothing doesn't create something. If there was ever absolute nothing, there would still be nothing. Yet, here we are. So what caused the universe? The cause must be outside of space, spaceless. Outside of time, eternal. Outside of matter, immaterial. Powerful enough to create everything, all-powerful. Intelligent enough to design it, mindful. Sound familiar? In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Genesis 1:1. That's not blind faith. That's the only explanation that makes logical sense. The universe had a beginning. Beginnings require causes, and only God fits the description. 3. Design requires a designer. If you found a smartphone in the woods, you'd never assume it formed by accident. Its code, design, and function all point to a creator. Now look at yourself. Your DNA holds 3 billion characters of precise information. Your brain processes more data than any supercomputer. Your eye adjusts faster than any camera. That's not chaos. That's craftsmanship. And the universe? It's fine-tuned for life. Gravity, light, and atomic forces are all perfectly balanced. Even a slight change would make life impossible. That's not chance, it's intentionality. God's invisible qualities have been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made. Romans 1:20. Atheism says it's all random, but randomness doesn't create code or order. It doesn't build galaxies or write life into cells. From atoms to the stars, creation shouts a single truth: you were designed, and where there is design, there is a designer. 4. Consciousness can't be explained by chemistry. Atheism teaches that your thoughts are nothing more than electrical signals, that love is just dopamine, that your dreams, your imagination, your longing for purpose are all chemical illusions produced by blind evolutionary processes. But if consciousness is just an illusion, who's being deceived? If your thoughts are the random firing of neurons, then why trust any thought, including the thought that God doesn't exist? You see the problem. The moment you say, I think, I reason, I believe, you've stepped outside of what naturalism can explain. You are more than molecules. You are more than meat and mindless matter. You are self-aware. You feel sorrow. You imagine heaven. You long for something more. He has also set eternity in the human heart. Ecclesiastes 3:11. You don't feel homesick in your soul for no reason. You feel it because you were made by someone. 5. Morality collapses without God. If God doesn't exist, then morality is just opinion, no different than ice cream flavors. There's no real right or wrong, just what society says, or what feels good to you. But deep down, you know some things are truly wrong. Rape, child abuse, genocide. These aren't just culturally frowned upon. They're evil. And you feel it in your bones. Even atheists cry out for justice. But justice assumes a standard assumes a judge, and a judge assumes God. They show that the requirements of the law are written on their hearts, their consciences also bearing witness. Romans 2:15. You don't get morality from evolution. Survival of the fittest doesn't produce sacrificial love or moral outrage or forgiveness. If we're just evolved animals, there's no reason to protect the weak or care for the poor. Morality isn't man-made, it's God-written. And without him, we're left in a world where Hitler wasn't wrong, just unpopular. 6. Jesus, the undeniable disruptor. The strongest blow to atheism? Jesus Christ. You can dismiss religion, but you can't erase him. He split time in two. He never led an army, yet his name is known in every nation. He didn't just teach truth, he claimed to be the truth. And he proved it by rising from the dead. If Christ has not been raised, your faith is useless. 1 Corinthians 15:14. But he was, and history backs it up. Secular historians agree Jesus was crucified under Rome. His followers claimed to see him alive. Skeptics like Paul and James were radically changed. The church exploded despite persecution. You don't die for what you know is a lie. The disciples were tortured and killed because they saw him alive. The resurrection isn't just hope, it's evidence. And if Christ is risen, atheism doesn't just lose an argument, it loses everything. 7. Even his enemies couldn't deny him. You don't have to believe the Bible to believe Jesus existed. He's one of the most well-documented figures in ancient history, even by non-Christians. Tacitus, a Roman historian, confirmed Christus was crucified under Pontius Pilate. Josephus, a Jewish historian, called Jesus a wise man and doer of wonders. Pliny the Younger described early Christians worshipping Jesus as a god. Lucian of Samosata mocked Christians for following a crucified leader. The Babylonian Talmud claimed Jesus was executed and practiced sorcery. None of these men were believers. They weren't defending Christianity, they were trying to discredit it. And yet their testimonies confirm the same truths. Jesus lived, taught, worked miracles, was crucified, and left a movement no empire could stop. Even his enemies couldn't erase him. Because truth leaves a mark, whether you believe it or not. You can keep asking questions, you can keep debating theology, but at some point you have to answer this. Where did everything come from? Why does anything matter? And what are you going to do with Jesus? Atheism offers no answers, only emptiness. No beginning, no meaning, no hope, just time, chance, death. But Jesus offers truth, a God who created you, a cross that paid for you, a resurrection that proves he is exactly who he said he was. And the question isn't whether he exists. The question is whether you'll surrender before it's too late. Comment below, truth wins. If this message stirred something in you, don't stay silent. Share it, like the video, and become a part of this movement further by hitting that join button. If you like these topics and want me to go deeper or into topics more similar to these, let me know. As always, stay strong, lead boldly, and let your faith be your shield.